Hi everyone, welcome back to Linger Longer with Books. My name's Catherine, and in this week's video I'm heading to a secondhand book sale. So the sale that I'm heading to is in a location called Hayling Island in the county of Hampshire in England where I live. It's about a 40-minute drive from my house, so I will be setting off very soon, but I just wanted to give a flavour of the authors that I've scribbled down in my trusty and ongoing notebook of sort of bookish lists of the authors that I am looking out for today. And let's just get to the right page. So here we go. I've made a note of the location and the date so I can kind of look back on this in time to come as well. So the authors I am looking for, in no particular order, and this is not exhaustive. I'm sure I will come home with books that I didn't intend to buy, as is always the way when you're book thrifting. So I have Sarah Crossan, Judy Blume, Suzanne Collins, Stephen King, Andy Weir, Robert Harris, Jessie Burton, and any of the Persephone books. I think that last one is quite a long shot because Persephone books are quite rare to see in secondhand scenarios and settings, although I am seeing a trickle of them come through in charity shops. But anyway, the book sale I'm going to is held every half term here in England. It's in a scout hall. So here in England, the Scouts are a long-running organisation where it kind of champions young boys to sort of grow the skills of, I guess, outdoors and leadership and friendship and all of those different things. So it's a sort of a national scout movement if you wanted to look it up. But anyway, the Scouts are running the sale every half term. As I said, it's to raise funds for their local group. So it's a win-win, isn't it? I'm going to come home probably with a tote bag of books, hopefully. And I'm supporting a good cause as well. So with that all said, I'm going to stop this clip here because we need to make a coffee for the road and get on the road because it is currently 9:15. The sale doors open to the Scout Hut at 10 a.m. So I should get there just around opening. So I shall report back later on how I got on, and I shall insert some footage of the sale itself, minding out the way of people and not looking like a total weirdo filming, but there we go. Okay, catch you later. Me again. It has been about just over half an hour. I've driven, I think, 21 miles. And I have arrived at Scout Hall. Doesn't look like, well, the doors are open, that's a good sign, but it doesn't look like there's many other people around. So I'm going to go in. I've got my tote bag ready. I have cold hard cash in my little handbag because they only accept cash, and I shall, there's a car pulling in now, that's exciting. But yep, I shall see what I find. Fingers crossed I don't come away empty-handed, but that is bookish hit and miss, isn't it? So wish me luck. I've just spent about 40 minutes walking around the fiction room and the non-fiction room, and I have come back with a bag full of books plus a very large hardback, which I shall explain later. But yeah, I shall wait until I'm in the warm and the dry of my home a little bit later on today to show you my haul. But I'm really chuffed with it. Like I said, it only cost me the grand total of £6. Some for me, some for others. So absolute bargains. Yeah, really happy with that. It's now a little later in the day. As you can see from my backdrop, I am now home from Hayling Island. And obviously I promised you a book haul. So let's get into it without further ado. I came home with a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think 8 books in total. 4 fiction, 4 non-fiction from my very rudimentary basic maths. I'm just going to pick them up, discuss them in the order that they are stacked up herein. I've given that no pre-thought. So first up is, it looks like a collection called Great Reads. This is the Christmas Stories. Hopefully you can see that okay with the shine, by Charles Dickens. And I saw this in the fiction room, and they had sort of buckets of classic books. And no surprise, Charles Dickens was in there in amongst other writers and authors like Jane Austen. Who else? Can't think off the top of my head right now. I think I'm in need of another coffee or something, a sugar hit. But anyway, I just thought that this was a lovely conditioned copy of short stories by Dickens. I'm just going to have to be really sort of pernickety. Really, really good, slightly yellowed pages, but I thought, do I need another Christmas book? Yes, I do, always. This intrigued me because I just wanted to have a look at the actual stories in it, and it has A Christmas Carol, a story called The Chimes, as in the bell chimes, and The Cricket on the Hearth. And I hadn't heard of those last two. Obviously very familiar with A Christmas Carol, because that I think is one of, I think that's arguably Dickens' most famous sort of festive tale. And it's been made into several different movie versions. But I thought that this was just a lovely sort of addition to my Christmas titles. It will go on my Christmas bookshelf. So you will be seeing this towards the end of the year, I'm sure. And I just love the fact that it's like 3 short stories together, that the font is quite small and the lines are quite kind of tightly packed together, but that's okay. So I picked up that one, and just to say, all paperbacks, hardbacks were £1 each. So we'll do a bit of adding up towards the end. That one. I picked up the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie. Sorry, say it again. Picked up the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Mary Ann Schaffer, and Annie Barrows, published by Bloomsbury. I had the good fortune to read this a few years ago now and absolutely loved it. So I've actually picked up this copy, which is in brilliant condition, for a colleague at work. She was looking for books, book recommendations, and recently I presented sort of a short well-being session to my team at work, all around the joy of reading. This wasn't one that I recommended. I picked out probably half a dozen recommendations across different genres, but I do think that that colleague would enjoy this one. I did recommend The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. She absolutely loved that. This is obviously very, very different topics and content, but the fact that it's in letter forms, it is, sorry, that's post coming through the door. This is beautiful sort of letters between growing friends, and very, very memorable once you read it. and there has been a film made featuring Lily James. I was going to say Lily Adams. Nope. Lily James. So there we go. There's that one. And yeah, like I said, great condition. A little bit yellowed, but absolutely fine. The next one I found in the fiction bucket, and this just completely stumbled across this one, is The Alice Network by Kate Quinn. This is a Reese's Book Club pick. This is a little bit sort of sad condition. I'm going to put some plastic over the spine, I think, just to protect it from sort of tearing anymore. And it has these funny edges. Let me know in the comments if you know what they're called. Are they deckled edges? I don't know. It's where they're sort of rough cut and they're not uniform, just to give them some texture. And this is a US copy because I can see on the back this originally sold for $16.99 or 21 Canadian dollars. This is published by William Morrow, good last name. And I picked this up because I have recently seen this on a sort of an email push that I had into my inbox, I think. And I think it was from a major online marketplace and retailer. And it sounded fascinating. I think it's probably got, I need to look it up on Goodreads, but it's probably got a very high score, I feel. And this, I haven't read too closely the inside sleeve, but it sounds like, well, it's hailed as a powerful story filled with daring and intrigue. The Alice Network will hook readers from the first page and take them on an unforgettable journey. And it, from a very sort of short, brief glance here, it looks like it spans 2 different time frames. We have 1947, chaotic aftermath of World War II. There's an American college girl, Charlie St. Clair, who's pregnant, unmarried, and on the verge of being thrown out of her very proper family. And then it looks like it also covers 1915, a year into the Great War. Eve Gardner burns to join the fight against the Germans and unexpectedly gets her chance when she's recruited to work as a spy. So somehow their lives are going to kind of intertwine or obviously be connected in some way. It's a New York Times bestseller, and shame they didn't have any other copies of it because I would have picked up a slightly better condition copy. But anyway, I picked it up. I just thought it would be probably quite rare to spot again, thrifting, and haven't seen it in my libraries. So anyway, I picked that one up. Really looking forward to reading this one at some point. And then the last fiction, the last fiction is this technically fiction? Bear with me. Death Comes Knocking, Policing Roy Grace's Brighton. This is by Graham Bartlett with Peter James. Okay, so it says Peter James, a best-selling Roy Grace series of crime novels. Let me give this video a thumbs up if you are a fan already. Is made all the more compelling by his in-depth research into the work of Brighton and Hove Police, and he sets them in a world every bit as gritty as the real thing. Now he and Graham Bartlett, a long-serving detective and commander of Brighton for 4 years, have written a gripping account of the city's most challenging modern cases, many of which Bartlett helped solve. Oh, definitely non-fiction. I was thinking it was fiction, sorry. So I have to admit, I have not read any of Peter James' books. My sister, however, is a huge fan. I think has got all of the books and nearly read all of them at this point. I can say, though, I am a fan of Graham's fiction. I've been lucky enough to be on a few of Graham's blog tours of his novels. There's also been... I listened to an audiobook a few years ago, non-fiction, of a case that Graham was involved in, I'm sure. Can't quite remember it at this point. I think it was the murder of 2 young girls. Is it Babe in the Wood? Sorry, can't remember. But I feel like Graham was involved in that one. So Graham has been on my bookish radar for probably the last 5 or 6 years in particular. And I picked this up for my sister. It's in immaculate condition, really, really good condition. It's slightly yellowed. It looks like it has obviously all the different chapters. It has a map, it looks like, and it has colour photos within it. But sad to say, my sister already has this book. So this will be heading to a little free library near me, or yeah, charity shop very, very soon. So absolutely no problem whatsoever. Someone will enjoy reading that. So I recount. So three fiction books, one non-fiction here, and another 4 non-fiction now. So the next 3 are connected. You might have seen from the quick glance there what the series I'm about to talk about. But when I was a little girl, and I've always, as long as I can remember, I've always been interested in history, all sorts of different historical periods, ancient Egypt, the Tudors, the Victorians, all sorts of things. I was a big fan of the Horrible Histories series by Terry Deary, and I think since I've grown up, it became a TV series as well. I'm not sure if I still have my original set. They could be at my mum's house, they could be in a box somewhere. I'm not too sure. I'm not aware of where they are. Might have been sort of passed on, I don't know, by this point. So when I was in the children's section, which was in the non-fiction room, I spotted a whole bunch of Horrible Histories books. I'll try and put a picture in here. But I thought I would just buy or bring home my few favourite ones. Otherwise, shelf space, all of those problems, and actually wanted to sort of get a couple of really good condition books as well. Not all of them were in the best condition. Anyway, first up was Vile Victorians. And the great thing about these really short books is they just give really bite-sized information about this time period in a really sort of engaging way. You can see it's in black and white, but just very, very accessible history for kids and young people. It says here, it's kind of engaging and interactive because it says vile Victorian food, vile Victorian eating habits, true or false, the Bucklands ate, and then it has a whole list of things like elephant trunk, roast giraffe, alligator, mice on toast, squirrel pie. And then it has sort of graphics and prompts to make you think about what the Victorians were eating. Let's flick through what schools were like, again with illustrations. So picked up that one. Next I picked up Terrible Tudors. This is a little bit of a bit bent cover, but okay. And not sure when these were published exactly, these editions. When does it say? Oh my goodness, 2017. I thought it was first published in the UK. I read the date above 1993, so I would have been 7 going on 8 when I first picked up these books then, because they were hugely popular and still are, like I said, from the TV series it's come. I've just opened it at a random page. It says Terrible Tudor Kings and Queens, Things They Tried to Teach You. And it kind of busts some myths while you read through the different sections. What else have we got? Oh, Terrible Tudor Witches, obviously very superstitious culture and society. It says Black Cats and Broomsticks. I'm just going to flip back through. Terrible Tudor Sailors. Obviously the Tudors was a time for lots of discovery and sailing and venturing to kind of new lands for I guess there were plantations, items such as sugar, cane and tobacco and all of those things, that acquiring land and ultimately power and money as well. So really fun to have that one. And then the third Horrible Histories I got, which I did pick up for my little, well, not little niece, young niece. She's nearly 6. Because she lives in Ireland, I picked up Ireland, but I have also heard from my sister that my niece already owns a copy of this book. So I will keep this. Sorry, voice is going. Still trying to get the last bit of my chest infection to go. I will keep this for myself, and it's a slightly bigger paperback than that one, which is quite nice actually. And this is just for my own reading to learn more about Ireland as a country. I think it particularly interesting because I've just read Where the Heart Should Be by Sarah Crossan, which was all set in the 1850s when the potato famine hit and absolutely devastated the country, wiped out many people's lives. So anyway, I picked this up. It is a little bit kind of not stained, it's just aged and a bit yellow, but good condition otherwise. So there you go. Those are the three Horrible Histories that I picked up, and they were, I think, 3 for £1, so 33 pence each if you want the exact English currency. There's those, and then on to the final book that I got, and this is my absolute favourite, I think I have to say, the one that I'm most excited about, and bear with me while I try to get it on the screen. This was in the non-fiction haul, and it was in one of the last buckets tray boxes that I actually looked at. I always like looking at the crime, which is actually where I picked this one up thinking about it. I like the crime section, I like the travel section and the history section. So I spotted this. This book was laying like this in one of the trays. So I sort of like, oh, that's heavy. Let's have a look at that. And it is the 50s, a unique chronicle of the decade. And it says front pages, headlines, news, features, reviews, obituaries, sports, advertising. Now this is going to be like an absolute goldmine to me, because the book that I am writing, Project Green-Eyed Monster, that I'm about 23,000 words into writing, is set in the 1950s, although it does go back to the late 1930s. But let me just open this up on a couple of pages if I can do it decently. The bulk of my novel, oh no, is that going to turn? Oh, it's stuck on that actual page, is in 1953. So there is a few chapters of my book where it is the run up to the coronation. So things like this, where you can see Elizabeth II is crowned. It has newspaper cuttings, it has adverts, as you can see. On the other side, it's got the murderer John Christie, who was sentenced to death at the Old Bailey for the murder of his wife Ethel last December. That's quite a striking photo there. And it'll pan through the weeks and months of these years. Let me just open one more page for you to see. So I think this is going to be really helpful to me. Not pocket size and not easy to transport around. It's quite heavy. I mean, this is a really special hardback size, but yeah, I just thought this would be so good to have by my side. What it will enable me to do is sort of pepper through my novel world events, local events, perhaps what people, I don't know, things like, I referenced Casino Royale, the book being by Ian Fleming, being about to be published, because I knew, sort of learned when it came out, what type of hats are people wearing, perhaps the adverts are telling me what sort of toothpaste people are using, all sorts, what sort of stockings women are wearing. It could be anything like that. And this will just help me, I think, frame and construct more factual placing in my story than would otherwise be possible. And I do have to say, alongside that book, where is it? Where have I put it? Oh, it's right under the pile of the books that I've just shown you. I had it out handy before I started filming this segment. Last time I was at that same secondhand book sale in Hayling Island, which would have been October time, the October half term, I picked up this book, 50 Style, and this particular book goes through a lot of the kind of advertising and marketing and cultural points of what perhaps 1950s buildings and homes interiors would have looked like in the 1950s. So that will really help me, kind of the style of what women were wearing, how their clothes were cut, what length were their dresses and skirts, what shoes and heels did they wear. So I perhaps walked past this one last time, I don't know. I would have been surprised if I did. I think I would have spotted it being so big. But with this one and with this one, they are going to be great for my research. And like I said, adding those layers of detail into my novel. So yeah, really happy to have those in my hand, which is why I've sort of said, I think out of all of the stack, I'm kind of most excited about using and reading that one. But there you go. Those are those are the smaller books. So really happy. All in all, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 books. Cost me a grand total of £6 all in all. Which is great, isn't it? Because we all love bargains. And when they're bookish bargains, you can't really beat it. So there we go. What I would say is, for those of you who are loyal followers of my channel, I value and appreciate every single one of you. What I do at this point that you'll know is I do a call out for you to leave a related emoji in the comments, so I know that you've watched this far. And I think in honour of the bargains that I have purchased today, leave me a cash emoji of your choosing, and maybe representative of the country that you're tuning in from. So I hope you've had fun. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me to the secondhand book sale. I had a lot of fun. That's why I keep returning to that book sale. Like I said, it's not local to me. I love going every half term. I've probably been going there, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years by this point. It's quite hard to pinpoint, but I feel it's been since just after COVID times and lockdowns. But anyway, there we go. I will, if they keep putting the sales on, I will keep going and I will keep buying books. So very happy about that situation. But I hope you're all doing really well this week. I hope you've got a lovely and fun read on the go. I am reading at the moment, which has been quite slow because I've just had to prioritise other things in life since my last video. But I am reading Gillian McAllister's brand new novel, which is out in April here in the UK, and it's called Caller Unknown. And I'm not allowed really to say anything any more than that, apart from it's about a woman and her teenage or sort of young adult daughter. The woman goes out to America to spend time with her daughter, who's been out there ahead of her, and first night they go to sleep, she wakes up and the daughter has disappeared, and then a phone call comes saying, we've got your daughter, you need to carry out this task. So I'm probably about 100 pages in, and already the premise is unsettling, gripping. So I'm really enjoying that one, and once it's out in April I will be able to fully kind of share my thoughts, but obviously respecting all of the privacy around that. Don't want to get into trouble. But there we go. I shall wrap up today's video there, but please, if you haven't yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, and if you do like my videos, then hit the notification bell, because that will sort of give you an alert of when each of my videos go up. Usually it's every Monday at 6 p.m. GMT, and if you've liked this video, just take a second to hit the like button. It really helps the engagement and others see my video too. So big thank you for all of your continued support. But I'm going to head off now. I'm going to get myself a nice, well, I've got a soft drink on the go. It's an orange San Pellegrino. Don't know if I'm allowed to say brands on this or not, but it's I haven't had one before, and it's quite refreshing. I think I'm going to curl up on the sofa if I can move Shelby out of my seat that he has pinched, and read some of my book, and probably flick through these research books and maybe write a little of my novel, because I've set myself this target of 2,000 words a week over the next 30 weeks or so, so 60,000 words, to sort of get myself up to about a good 80,000 words or more. But life has not panned out in 2026 smoothly so far. Last 6 weeks I've obviously been very poorly, had a loss in the family, so absolutely no headspace for proper writing or sort of usual activities in that way. So I need to get sort of back up to speed in that way, but I'm not going to be harsh on myself. But I've written about 700 words this week, but if I can maybe do the same again this evening and into tomorrow, over the weekend, I'll be happy with that. If I can maybe maintain 1,500 a week, which probably sounds nothing to some people, but if you're doing sort of 200, 300, 500 in chunks, evenings, after work or on the weekends, I think that's fair enough. But anyway, I'm in massive danger of rabbiting on, so yeah, I am going to sign off now. But I hope you're all doing really well, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye. Thank you.